Good afternoon, guys. It's Workin, bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar. This is the 4-hour chart on Coinbase, and things are starting to get interesting, guys. Let me zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. Of course, we had this last update. We had just broken down out of this wedge here. Price broke down. I told you guys to watch this area right down in here. This order block right here. This is the area I said anything below 62.35. This support zone here would be a good buy. So we were watching this order block right in here. This prior order block here, of course, price came down, wicked into it. I told you I had a small buy order here filled, came right back up, started consolidating right on top of the 62.35 support. It was getting squeezed tighter and tighter within this wedge. And let me zoom into the 30-minute chart because I want you to, this was extremely important. I'm going to explain to you what happened here. The market, the dynamics of this market are shifting. So we had a breakdown initially. You can see here, this is on the 30-minute chart. We initially had a breakdown out of this wedge. And what happened when we had this breakdown? Let me go over here to shorts. I'm going to show you. And let me go to the 30-minute chart. We're on the 30-minute chart on shorts. You can see shorts have been kind of falling off the board here all day. And then we had that breakdown in price. And you would expect, typically in the past, retail investors have been chasing price. So when price breaks down, they rush to get into a short position. So typically when you would see price break down, you'd see shorts start to rise. What happened here? Price broke down and shorts started to fall off the board. That is significant. That means retail investors are getting much wiser. What do? They took profit. What a novel idea. They took profit. Retail is starting to get very, very smart, guys. They're not falling for the same old tricks. As I showed you before, we looked at this large, I've showed you this, you guys probably hate me for showing you this path, but I can't show you this enough. We've run out of guppies. The market makers have no more people to fool. So in other words, retail is not just holding their positions and losing their money and giving their money to market makers anymore. That's not happening. So market makers drove price down, and what happened? Retail took profit. Congratulations. What happens when they take profit? When you close a short position to take profit on a short position, what do? You have to buy. What happens when you buy? Of course, that pushes price up. What happened here? Price broke down. We had this beautiful reversal candle right here, and then price broke right back up, took off. What happened though also when price broke down? This was also very interesting. We go over here and look at longs. Typically when price breaks down, what happens to longs? Longs typically fall off the board. Either their stop losses are triggered or people are just losing confidence, and once again, they're chasing price. What happened when price broke down this time? Longs broke up. Longs started, actually they were rising a little bit even beforehand. We're on the 30-minute chart. But when price broke down, longs actually started to rise. At no point did longs start to fall off when price broke down. They actually started to rise. Why is that significant? That's significant because price broke down, and as I showed you guys on my last update, I told you that this order block back in here, this was the area to start stacking in your buy orders. Anything below 62.35, I told you to watch this area very, very close, all the way down to and including 61.15, 61.20. That was the area I told you to buy. So price broke down, and people actually bought. Retail actually bought. They were waiting for a discounted price to buy. So they weren't chasing the price. That's extremely significant. That means that retail is getting much, much wiser, and that's a much healthier market. That's exactly what you should see. You should see people taking advantage of price when price breaks down. And of course, that caused it that when they bought, of course, that was people closing their shorts that pushed price up, but it was also people entering long positions that pushed price up. So now the question is, are we going to be able to sustain this latest rise? So we had this rise up. We're back on the 4-hour here. We had this rise up. Price came up, almost reached. I told you guys if price did break up that we had to take out this 63.60 resistance area up here. I told you this is the area we have to end up taking out, guys. And of course, price came up, didn't quite hit that area, and we had a rejection. So this retest is what I'm going to be watching. This retest is going to be extremely important in my opinion, guys. It's going to be extremely important to see how price ends up reacting. If we come down and we get a decent retest somewhere around, let me actually pull a fib on this and see where we'd be watching. So yeah, if we get a decent retest somewhere around the 50, So it would be coming back into this order block right here, anywhere between the 50 and the top of this wick, which is about the 382 fib. So anywhere between 6,300 down to about 6,270, somewhere in that area. We get a decent retest and a nice bounce. That's going to be an extremely bullish sign, guys. Now, if we end up crashing through this, then of course I'm going to have to call this a bull trap. That is possible that we are looking at a bull trap. Why do I say that? Even though we had this healthy looking news here, we had this healthy reaction, and this is healthy, guys. Make no mistake mistake about it. Even if price does end up coming back down to a lower low, and this ends up getting the fact that retail is getting wiser like this and is starting to act like day traders. You know, day traders don't always win, but the fact that they're no longer stupid, foolish money, the fact that they're actually trying, they're understanding the game a little bit better, that's a bullish sign, in my opinion. That's a bullish sign. Doesn't mean we can't come back down to new lows, just means that's a bullish sign. And as far as long-term markets, a long-term outlook on the market, that's an extremely bullish sign. Even if we come back down to lower prices, guys, long-term, this is an extremely bullish sign, of course, in my opinion here. So let's wait and see. The reason I'm pulling this up, guys, I want to show you that even though we did have this shorts falling off the board, long stacking, shorts are still outpacing longs. I don't want to say very significantly, but significantly enough to where if price did end up dropping back down, that would, it still would make some sense. You know, market makers could still make some money bringing price down to much lower levels. So we'll have to wait and see how this reacts. But I think they're getting a little. I think market makers are getting a little hesitant, knowing that retail is getting wiser, knowing that even if they do end up bringing price crashing down, no longer are retail just blindly going into shorts, and no longer are long positions all sitting here just hitting all their stop losses. More than likely, you're going to have some people as they drop price down. You're going to have people that are willing to start buying. As we saw right here, and that signals the possibility of new money starting to enter this market. Now, I'm not there yet. I'm just saying this is a good signal that new money may start to enter this market, and it's certainly a good signal that retail investors are getting wiser. So what am I watching? I'm watching a couple things. Zooming out here to the, this is the weekly, looking at the weekly RSI. I'm watching this wedge pattern that prices, that the RSI, the weekly RSI has been kind of getting squeezed in tighter and tighter. You can see it's really got almost nowhere else to go here. In the next week, it's more than likely going to have to break out of this wedge. It doesn't mean that this thing is going to explode. Just means it's a very interesting indicator to keep an eye on right here. It does, in my opinion, looks like this would, if this is all we had to go on, of course, this would indicate a larger move is to come. Doesn't mean that has to happen. It's just one indicator of many that we're going to need to take a look at. If we come over here and we look at the daily RSI, what I'm keeping an eye on is right here, about 50, right there. Right around 50 here, we can see that the RSI has been unable to decisively break above that 50 RSI level. Really, again, I say decisively since mid-September. This area back here is the last time we were decisively above it. Now we've briefly come above it, come right back down, briefly come above, come right back down here as well, but really have not been up above 50 RSI on the daily since about mid-September. So I want to see a break up above 50 and consolidation up above 50 RSI to start getting more excited. And looking at the 4-hour, we almost have this double top pattern here. Price came back down, came back up, tested this area, broke back down here. I want to see price take out this area right here on the 4-hour RSI. In other words, I want to see the RSI penetrate up to about 55, somewhere in this area, guys, and consolidate above that. That's what I'm going to start to get excited. That's the area that I need to see broken. Looking at price, obviously, as I said, guys, I've told you many times, we need to break above this 63.60. We've got to take this area out, guys. We've got to take above 63.60 and then start consolidating above that. Obviously, we've got to take out the prior high of this order structure right here. But when I'm going to start, when I will start thinking the bottom may be in, is when price obviously takes out this order structure here. But when we get above 65.40, once we get above 65.40 and start consolidating above 65.40, given the length that we had of this consolidation period here, I am looking at this as the prior order structure. And if we can get above the prior order structure, and by above, I mean if we can create a new high. Of course, we've been creating a series of lower highs this whole time. Of course, we've been creating higher lows as well. So we've created a series of lower highs, higher lows. If that pattern can get broken, which it will be decisively broken if we can get above 65.40, if we can break above 65.40. So we can break above 65.40, guys, and start consolidating above 65.40. I'm going to start to think that the bottom may be in. Now, of course, that'll, in my opinion, that'll be confirmed when we take out this high right in here. These two wicks right in here. That sets at about 6,800, 6,810, somewhere thereabouts. But again, if we can consolidate above 65.40, guys, in my opinion, that will break this trend that we've been in of lower highs, higher lows. That'll break that trend to the upside. And if we can break to the upside, I think chances are the chances will start to favor the bulls dramatically, in my opinion. Go over here and looking at moving averages. That's on Bitstamp. Sorry, guys, didn't want that one. There we go. Looking at Bitfinex, checking our stand by 1 sec, guys. Sorry, I'm on the wrong chart there. There we go. All right, looking at our moving averages, guys, we can see that price ended up breaking down. Price has been trying to break up above this 8-day. This is on the 4-hour chart. Sorry, guys. The price had broken above or broke below the 8-day EMA and had been unable to break above this 8-day EMA for the last few days. It's been itching, trying to, wicking above it many times. It broke back down dramatically, and of course, this is the kind of candle that you want to see, guys. This is a beautiful. If this pans out, this is a beautiful looking reversal candle. Let's wait and see how this kind of pans out. Obviously, I'd like to see the body a little bit higher than it is. A little stronger wick, but still, I'll take what I'll take what I can get. But yeah, this is a nice, strong looking wick down here. Beautiful bullish engulfing candle. If we can get, if this candle closes bullish, if this 4-hour candle closes bullish, I'm going to start to get extremely excited. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, guys. But right now, we can see it broke above the 21-day EMA on the 4-hour chart. It's coming back down. It's testing that now. If we can stay above that 21-day EMA on the 4-hour, that obviously short term will be bullish. Long term, it's not going to mean a whole lot. We need to see, we need to see a break above the 21-day EMA on the daily chart to start getting long-term bullish, or at least to show a shift in momentum. As I told you guys on all my updates, anytime you are operating below the 21-day EMA on the daily chart and you break above it decisively, that usually shifts, or that I should say, that's a very good indication of a momentum shift in favor of the bulls. And the opposite is also true. If you're operating above the 21-day EMA on the daily and you break below it decisively, that's a good indicator of a shift in favor of the bears. But right now, we see that we had broken down well below the 8-day EMA a couple days ago. Just now, we broke up above it briefly. Now, the bears were able to push it right back down. But if we can close at least above this 8-day EMA today, guys, that's going to be an extremely bullish side, in my opinion. And really, what we're going to be watching is this 21-day EMA. If we can break above the 21-day EMA on the daily chart, guys, decisively, of course, that's going to be an extremely bullish sign. And we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I do find it interesting that price came back down, almost perfectly hit the daily, the bottom of the daily Bollinger Band here, and just had this nice reversal candle here. So let's wait and see how this plays out, guys. But right now, this is looking, this is getting very interesting. We'll just put it that way. Of course, we are still continuing to keep an eye on these longer term, excuse me, guys, long-term trend lines. We come up here, look on, this is on Coinbase, this is on the daily chart. We can see this trend line was established all the way back in March of 2017, so just a little over a year and a half now. And of course, if we zoom in here, we're starting to approach that trend line now. So let's wait and see if it moves sideways, possibly hits it, or if we get a drop back down, hits it again. Either way, it looks like we are approaching this trend line, which could signal a major bounce. Doesn't mean we can't go lower first. We could come back down to, maybe the $6,000 area again, and still stay above this trend line, but it's going to be very interesting to see how price reacts as we get closer and closer to this trend line. Now, the larger trend line that we're keeping an eye on is this one here. Let me go to log scale, and I showed you guys this in the last one. This is the more important one, and this goes all the way back to, let me pull out the monthly chart so you guys can see a little bit better. This is on the monthly chart, and we're pulling all the way back to about 2012, a little before 2012, actually late 2011. And of course, we can see that this trend line has been respected this entire time. And again, this is on log scale. This is on the log scale chart. For those that aren't familiar with log scale, guys, I would encourage you to look it up, but basically log scale just looks at price in percentage rather than actual dollars, actual movement in dollars. It looks at movement and percentage-wise. But basically, this trend line has been respected since late 2011. We are approaching that trend line now. And if we zoom in here, if we just go sideways, as I said in my last update, it looks like we'll approach that trend line in about another month. And we could possibly come back down and hit this trend line, break down lower, hit this trend line again, and then bounce right back up. But either way, we're getting very, very close to this trend line, very close to the prior trend line that I showed you. All of that signals a major bounce possibly looming. Doesn't mean we can't come back lower. And by lower, I mean we can come back down possibly to that 57.75 low, 6,000 low, somewhere in that area, and expect a very strong bounce. Then, guys, if this trend line does break, then of course I think we're going to much, much lower lows, possibly new lows for 2018. But until that happens, guys, I do expect a bounce off of this trend line. So let's just wait and see how that ends up playing out. Again, doesn't mean price can't go a little bit lower in the short term, but it does mean that that prior low of 57.75, more than likely, if this trend line is going to hold, that prior low is going to hold at this point because we are that close. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I would appreciate an upvote if you have enjoyed this content. Until next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Workin, signing out.